The way you deliver your consulting is changing, but the foundational principles have not. Not that long ago, you could slap your expertise with an offer, promote it to your audience, and book sales calls fairly easily. So not that long ago, you could just use your expertise, pair that with fairly solid offer, and then add a guarantee to it, plug that in front of your audience, and start booking sales calls. It was a lot easier to get attention across social media, get trust from the attention, and convert those into qualified booked calls, which ultimately turned into sales. That is no longer the case. Content slop is on the rise, both human and AI. So a thing that I see on a day-to-day basis, super pro AI content people, AI gurus, AI this, AI that, AI systems, AI assisted, AI powered, whatever it is, AI, I'm all for it. On the other side, just human, everything that's done with AI with content is slop. But the reality is that AI just speeds up the rate of pre-production, production, post-production. And if it's shitty content, then you're just gonna be putting out more shitty content. If it's valuable content, then you can use a lot of AI assisted workflows to speed up the rate at which you produce high quality content from real expertise that you experienced over the years in real life trenches experience. But that's also the same with like 100% human production. If you're just sharing slop, it's slop whether it's AI or human. People having a hard time believing over-promising or you don't pay guarantees. You've seen all the 12-year-old marketing bros promising we'll get you 1,000 qualified calls and 50 guaranteed high ticket clients or you don't pay. And on top of that, we pay you 20 grand and we fly you out to your destination of choice and pay for a luxury hotel for the next month for you and your family. The guarantees are ridiculous. The more time has gone by, the more ridiculous the claims and guarantees have gotten. I don't say this to shit on young entrepreneurs, marketing experts, sales experts, and so on, but there's such a small percentage of actual legitimate claims. So people are tired of ridiculous promises to something that's a bit more quiet, long-term, and believable. So not saying that guarantees don't work. And a lot of the known experts, I don't need to name their names for you to who I'm referring to in your head, are correct. And they know a lot more than me. They have a lot more data than me, and guarantees do work. There's just big trust recession and you need to adjust the way that you position yourself with those guarantees. Of course, there are nuances. It's not like a black and white, say, have a lot of authority already, then those guarantees are much more believable. But if you're a new guy on the block and you're pushing crazy guarantee and have nothing to back it up and you don't seem as believable, then it's gonna be a hard sell. So you're better off just going with a little bit more resistance, but full truth and integrity. Founders are shutting down their coaching businesses faster than a love is blind divorce. Yeah, so I'm seeing this also, a trend where a lot of coaching businesses, consulting businesses, and agency owners are saying that they're shutting down their business. And I've done this little tactic before too. It's a good hook to then elaborate on the story. But some of them are really pushing the actually shutting down their business. But the next day, they're actually continuing to run the exact same business, just adding a few AI prompts and jacking up the price. And that's interesting. But what I want to focus on in this last sentence is for you to not get so distracted as a consultant, a service business expert, to go and try to build a SaaS with zero experience. I would instead encourage you to just focus on ways to increase the quality of delivery that you provide to your clients. And you can have no-code SaaS options on the back end, or even easier, just go use tools that already exist. Don't go build your own. There are guys with millions, billions in venture capital and funds to create the next best thing on the software side. And if you're watching this, highly unlikely that you have those funds. And I'm not discouraging you from going and doing vibe coding and no coding and all that, but just don't deviate from the focus of growing this expert-led business, which is your best cash flow business to grow your personal brand and inject cash into your core front-facing business to then invest into bigger projects, whether it be through real estate, SaaS, or brick and mortar businesses, more behind-the-scenes businesses. But if you're at a stage where you're still working your way up to your first few million per year, then by far consulting is the best option you can choose. Rather than just chasing that next shiny thing, just use the trends to improve your marketing and to improve your lead generation and so on, but don't just change business models completely. As long as service businesses exist, there will be a need for human-led strategy, attention generation, turning this attention into clients and delivering a desired outcome. This will, of course, look differently than it does today. Today, you're consuming a YouTube video, or you're consuming short form videos, or you're reading Substacks, or you're reading a piece of paper, or you're watching TV and getting blasted with ads. Yesterday, day, it was direct mail, and we had radio ads and all that. In the future, this might be like the super weird, like old school thing to do, and people might just be live stream all the time, just like they're going to work, like during the day, like Gary Vee style, but without the 50+ team members. You're just filming all day, every day, and you're live streaming, and that's your way for you to have a chance to make it in this business thing. I guess we'll see. No one truly knows. But that being said, it all goes back to the idea that as long as humans and businesses exist, humans will trust humans more than robots, AI, or whatever else is not actually human, and will need attention to generate that attention strategically to convert into clients and customers to grow your business. And then while your business is growing from said clients, you're gonna have to improve your delivery. And that's all gonna look different and evolve over time, but those pieces will not change. So for the select few that choose to take this as a once in a lifetime opportunity rather than an existential threat, we're living in exciting times. And I'm not saying that none of this is not scary. I'm not saying that this is only sunshine and rainbows. I'm saying that you can't fully control it. So you might as well do your best with it. And it's up to you to be ethical with it, to act with integrity as you scale so that you can sleep at night. So just be a good human being and make the most of the situation and do your best to get the biggest piece of the pie so that you can grow your business to a point where you don't really have to worry about these things nearly as much. So if what the gurus say that, oh, there's only 36 months left to this whole thing, and after that, we're all gonna have to go start farms and raise chickens and live off grid and be self-sufficient. Either way, it's a win-win if you go all in, and you can do that in an ethical way. That is your choice. So just don't do the slop thing, do the I'm actually giving value thing with your expert business, and you'll be fine. And if you're not, then it's a bigger problem than this video can explain. Not only can you deliver your knowledge and expertise faster than ever, you could drastically increase your client success rate with the level of support touch points you now have access to as a lean consulting business. If you're in the coaching and consulting space, you're no longer just selling info. You're no longer selling education. Everyone can go on YouTube and watch these videos, go on Claude or ChatGPT or whatever AI that of choice is, and ask these questions. What they need is those human touch points, is the deeper thinking that opens up things that information that's just pulled from data from the computer, from the internet, can't deliver in the same way. There's an emotional component that you can't truly fully get with all this AI stuff that's happening. So the fact that you can deliver all these things much faster makes you be much more efficient and also effective with the human aspect of it. Custom GPTs, Claude Code, Claude Cowork, mini AI agent armies, the list is endless. There's new solutions, tools, softwares starting every day, bots, AI agents, automations, the list goes on. You don't want to be in the game of being that just one little tool selling low ticket to the masses. You don't have a Netflix budget. You want to use all these tools to go into businesses and to plug in all these things, and in a clear step-by-step way that follows foundational principles that are timeless for businesses as long as they exist, and then use these tools. So a bit more of an arbitrage play where you don't need to fork over millions and billions of dollars to create your own solution and just get paid to leverage existing tools, softwares, workflows to plug them into businesses. Because the reality is that if you're in this marketing bubble, you're probably hearing this AI stuff every day, but the majority of businesses are so ridiculously far behind when it comes to implementing things to move faster, to go leaner, to have smaller teams with bigger results. So you might feel like you're behind, but you're actually way ahead if you're watching this and you're nodding like this and you're agreeing. Adding this tech-driven layer to your educational content makes it impossible for clients not to win. So when it was only information and like live weekly calls and Zoom calls and things like that, it was a little bit harder to make those clients you're working with take full ownership of their desired outcome. And it was easier for them to hide behind the door and to blame their lack of results on you. But if you have workflows, AI agent, armies, GPTs, a bunch of automations that are removing a lot of the manual, tedious work, and then giving them touch points for support every step of the way, they're stuck. They don't need to wait for a coaching call to get that resolved. They can literally just go to a specific prompt or specific tool with a specific walkthrough that you show them to how to use that workflow or tool and solve their problem and move on to the next. So the only way for it not to work for them is if they didn't do the work at all. But on top of that, you're doing a lot of the work for them. So they're literally just jockeying their way to riches. Implementation bottlenecks bottlenecks are now 80% solved without wiping out all your margins. So this goes back to all the tedious manual labor, manual work, repetitive work that could be delegated without needing too much of a human behind it. All that's removed. So you can now use the majority of your energy and value as a thought leader to reinvest into your community, into those results, into connecting with them on a more personal one-on-one basis, because now you're not busy putting out fires left and right with the manual labor on a day-to-day, and you're letting them implement that through your step-by-step workflows that solve specific problems, and then using the majority of the energy for the vision type of work, the accountability, the human energy transfer to make sure that you can keep going and get out of your own way and just be part of a like-minded community. Your vision, your unique philosophy, IRL, so in real life, time with your community, you just have way more time for that now. So those were things that were expected of people signing up for your coaching programs or consulting services with you. But now you just have a lot more time to do that. So you're putting more of your efforts towards the thing that brings the most impact and removing a lot of the stressful, tedious stuff and giving that to the AI agents, workflows, and other tech stack solutions that don't have emotions. They don't get tired and they could just get it done without complaining. So you have way more room for the rest. So what you can't afford anymore is mediocrity. So go on, be great.